Beauty supplements. When does it pay to be pretty, and what is just a waste of money? Today we're going to do a quick overview of 3 popular beauty ingredients that have kind of popped up and started floating around the web, and look at these from a scientific perspective. Specifically, how some of the nutrition and chemistry in these products interacts with the biology of our body, or the biochemistry, to understand if it's actually worth paying the money for. We're going to do a high-level overview of collagen, we're going to do biotin, otherwise known as B7, and we're going to do an adaptogen, ashwagandha, because I recently cringed during a reaction video because what the person said made no sense, and I want to dissect this a little bit to understand what adaptogens are, why they're being thrown around in beauty, and with all of these things, are they actually going to benefit you? So let's start with that ingredient that is probably the newest and that drew the most confusion. This word adaptogen. This was what kind of sparked this entire idea.
This is gonna put me to sleep. It also has ashwagandha, which is an adaptogen. So it adapts to what your body needs. And then...
yeah, that's not how adaptogens work. And adaptogens actually create stress in your body. And this could be a good thing. But first, let's explain how they popped up in a lot of beauty supplements and where they actually come from. You see, plants live on Earth. Duh, so do you and I. But some plants and some herbs have been used for thousands of years for medicinal purposes. If you look at ancient Egyptian medicine, if you look at Chinese medicine, or if you even look at Ayurvedic medicine from India, you'll notice a lot of these things that science hasn't necessarily proven yet. And also, just because we don't have research proving that they work doesn't mean they don't. It could mean that the scientific community hasn't paid to fund that. Because guess who has a lot of money? Pharmaceutical companies. And if they can't patent a plant, they can't, the way they can a molecule, aka a drug or a prescription, they might not want to put the money forward to fund that scientific research because it is expensive. Adaptogens are specifically that, and they've actually been used in Africa, in China, and in India for thousands of years. But they weren't really brought into the limelight until Russia started working with them in like the 1950s. It was either the 1930s or the 1950s, but basically the Russian government was looking for a way to make some of their athletes, and I believe some of their soldiers, a little bit stronger. And these adaptogens were found, specifically ashwagandha and panax ginseng, and they were found to be these plants that had interesting properties inside of the human body. Adaptogens do not adapt to what your body needs. They impact a lot of the different systems in your body, specifically through hormones, but what they actually do is cause you stress. And the reason they do that is because when it gives you little amounts of stress, it helps your body and your brain adapt better to big amounts of stress. For instance, I could be freaking out about a pimple on the side of my cheek. I want to take Instagram pictures, but I feel insecure and my whole day is ruined because I woke up with new blemishes. Bummer, right? And well, another day I woke up, day seemed to be going fine, and by the end of the day, I was in the most pain I've been in my entire life. I ended up having meningitis, being tested positive for sepsis, and you probably have not seen this because I haven't really spoken about it. From the 1st to 14th of February, I was in the ER, I was back and forth with doctors in the hospital, and suffering with a life-threatening condition that was literally the most painful thing that I've ever gone through and has really given me a new outlook on life and what I'm doing here. And as you can see, when you are faced with a life-threatening illness that took away part of my hearing and part of my vision, I have lasting damage because of this, when you're faced with that, the little pimple doesn't feel so big anymore, does it? And, you know, obviously I wouldn't want to go through either of those, but one seems completely trivial in the face of the other. And that's kind of what adaptogens are on a very much less morbid and depressing level. They introduce your body to small amounts of stress so that your body can handle with big stress in a better way. And this is physical stress, such as after a workout. This is mental stress, such as test taking. And this is also biological stress, such as a cold or a flu. There have been a couple of different research studies that show this, but what's weird is that different people have different reactions. Ashwagandha is really the most typical adaptogen, so that's what we'll talk about here. But some people get stomach upset, some get diarrhea, and some get constipation. For some people, adaptogens are super, super stimulating. They keep you awake, wired, and energized. But there are some people who actually fall asleep and become subdued when they take them. There are some medical studies that show that they have reduced blood sugar. They did a study that I think was placebo-controlled that showed that there may be a positive benefit for those who have blood sugar issues. And there was another study done with math testers. And they gave people different amounts or no amounts of ashwagandha. And those who had the higher level of intake of this adaptogen, ashwagandha, had better test-taking abilities. And they therefore deducted that it could help improve your mental function. Take that as you will. What's weird is that why is this being called a beauty supplement? This really is an overall body supplement. When we think about our bodies, I think it's very naive to think of our bodies as separate systems, such as the heart and the lungs versus the skin and the hair and the nails, because truly our bodies are this beautiful piece of machinery that works all together to keep us protected and safe and healthy and happy. And if something's going wrong, for instance, if my one and only kidney gives out on me, my heart, my lungs, and my brain aren't going to work very well for much long after. You see what I'm saying? And obviously your body prioritizes certain organs such as your heart pumping blood and your brain over your skin, your hair, and your nails. But your skin, your hair, and your nails are an integumentary system, so everything really is connected. What's weird is that this is not a beauty supplement. When we look at the body as a whole, of course you want the whole to function better. Lower stress levels, meaning lower cortisol levels, could have positive effects on beauty from an anti-aging perspective, but I don't think it's proper to call any of these adaptogens beauty supplements per se. Yet we're seeing them in a lot of beauty things. So are adaptogens worth your money? I think that you need to be aware of what you're taking and how your body will respond, especially because I think there's about 10 adaptogens that I personally know of. There's only again, 2 that actually work, but you should always talk to your doctor before using these because they can impact the other medications that you're taking. And that could be very dangerous, especially if you're on a life-saving antibiotic, such as what I was on, or a heart medication, or something else of that nature. And then this plant extract that you put in your smoothie or drink in your coffee all of a sudden starts inhibiting that, you could be in trouble. So it's better to be safe than sorry. I'm still coughing up blood, by the way. Fun times with bronchitis. Next, let's discuss collagen, because this one is kind of funny. I found 4 studies out of the 16 that exist that are completely biased by the industry that might say something about collagen supplementation. But then when we look at that deeper, such as how this is actually absorbed by the body and biochemical pathways, they completely got busted open by my little protein powder here. So let me explain what I mean. Collagen is being sold in topical applications, such as in creams for the skin, or in oral applications, such as little collagen peptides that you eat and it miraculously builds your skin and hair and nails. I hate to break it to you, but it doesn't exactly work that way. It works in a funny way though, which we will discuss. And in this episode of this video, we're only going to be speaking about the internally taken form. So again, the powders that you might mix in or the drinks that you might have. You see, collagen is important. It makes up a large amount of our body from a dry weight perspective, and it makes up the majority of our skin. Collagen is what gives our skin its structure, and elastin is what is the rubber bands inside of our skin, and of course, those make our skin firm, function well, look young and plump. So it's natural that people want to boost up their collagen levels. However, eating it doesn't necessarily mean that it gets where it needs to go. You see, collagen lives in the lower level of our skin, which is called the dermis. It's kind of like the true skin, and it's actually made by a very special cell called a fibroblast. But the fibroblasts aren't taking collagen to make collagen. The fibroblasts make collagen from amino acids. You can think of these as little building blocks, and these are very special little building blocks that you do get from your diet. Now, I want to make it clear that collagen is not only found in your skin, it's also found in your smooth muscle, in your connective tissue, and other places in your body. And there are many different types of collagen as well. So don't just think that there's one type, because you could have like 16 different types of collagen overall. Or is it 24? I need to go read a book. And these fibroblasts need these amino acids, these special little building blocks, but they also need other ingredients. They need vitamin C, they need zinc, they need copper, and it's a very special recipe and concoction that they use to build real collagen inside of your body. So to understand collagen, which is a protein, we do have to understand how these amino acid building blocks turn into collagen. Amino acids are these tiny little building blocks, or pearls if you want to call them. They're assembled into these chains called peptide chains. You might have heard of those from your skincare. Imagine these as like beads, pearl beads on a necklace. And then a protein is when they're folded up into funny shapes. So imagine taking the necklace, putting it around your neck 2 or 3 times. You're folding it into a shape, and that final shape shape is a protein. So the proteins that we're always looking for that have multiple functions throughout our body, collagen is a protein, really come from these amino acids, these peptides, and this whole process happening inside of us. Now, in the human body, there are more or less 21 amino acids. 9 of them are essential and 11 of them are not. What this means is that essential amino acids have to be taken in from the diet, and the non-essential ones our body creates itself. So you could never eat them and be totally fine because your body makes them, just the way it makes collagen. Collagen specifically always needs the amino acids glycine and proline, but it can also add one of 17 that it just kind of chooses willy-nilly. And again, that gives collagen a lot of flexibility on how it wants to create itself. Your body can mix and match them because, again, that's your body's job, and it's good at creating these proteins, these vital proteins. Sorry, I had to. Now, there is one specific amino acid that is found in collagen, and it's called hydroxyproline, but it's not exclusive to collagen. It's also found in elastin. It's also found in a protein called arginine-2, and again, your body makes this hydroxyproline on its own. You don't need to ingest it because your body makes it. If you do want to ingest it, it comes from the hooves and the tissue of other animals, such as fish, pigs, and cows. See, the role of hydroxyproline allows collagen to twist into its special little shape. So again, it is important, but our body creates it naturally. So if we eat more collagen from cows, pigs, horses, dogs, wherever, we can make more collagen, right? Well, it doesn't exactly work that way. You see, your body, when you ingest collagen, first breaks it down. It goes through your stomach and in your small intestines, and it gets pulled apart into those tiny amino acids because they need to get absorbed through the lining of your intestines. Once it's broken down into those little pieces, those amino acids, it's repackaged up and sent through the bloodstream. But notice, your body has no idea that those came from collagen. Your body and what's in your bloodstream is just a bunch of amino acids. And those could have come from any source, whether it's your collagen supplement, or your random ass protein powder, or your beans, your nuts, your seeds, your tofu, or your chicken wings, if that's your thing. And as it's circulating through your bloodstream, it's not just going to your skin, it's going to where it needs to go. If you just had an injury, a sports-related injury, and just had an issue with a tendon or a ligament, all of the amino acids are going to go there to repair what it needs to repair. The other thing is that science has not found a way to specifically trace these amino acids and where they go. Normally, the way that they would do that is make them radioactive and then see where they go through scans and big machines. And also there are other methods with contrast and things that you can do to track, the way nutrients flow throughout your body. But that costs a lot of money and it just hasn't been done yet. So we don't actually know if these peptides are actually getting to the skin where they need to be. Now, some collagen supplements have been tested and the results look promising. There have been claims of increased skin elasticity. Some people say their skin felt firmer. Some people said their skin felt more oily, and they are attributing this to the collagen supplement. But when you actually look at the studies, there are a couple of flaws. The first is that some don't even have a placebo group. For instance, if I tell you that I wave my hands in front of your face, you're going to grow more collagen. If you truly believe me, there is a slight chance that your body will actually react in a way that makes your skin stronger. That is the placebo effect. It is proven by science and it is very real. If a study is conducted with no placebo group or no control group, you don't really know if you're getting a benefit or not. Also, a lot of these studies are paid for by not pharma companies, not interested citizens like you and me, but by the companies that are selling the collagen. Doesn't mean that they're wrong, but they have a financial incentive to make sure that their data looks good for them. On top of that, a lot of these collagen supplements aren't just collagen. There's other ingredients in there. There's other amino acids. Maybe they included some fiber, maybe they included some citrus extract, maybe they're putting adaptogens in there. But when you're mixing so many different variables into one powder, how do we know that it's actually the collagen that's giving someone the benefit and not just something else inside of there? Because heck, if I drink a lot of water, my body is going to function better than if I was chronically dehydrated. That right there could say a lot about how oily or plump my skin feels. Now again, we have to stay honest and objective. Some of these studies show that collagen density went up, or that people felt their skin was firmer or more hydrated, or that they had less crow's feet. But again, To be totally sure, and for me to compromise my morals and values and waste $40 to $90 on Goop collagen supplements, you're gonna have to have some pretty compelling evidence to get me, a natural critic and a natural skeptic, to down a bunch of cardboard juice every morning. The other thing that I think is really important to mention is that no big reputable dermal publications have run any studies on this. There are different journals and different publishers who are known in the scientific community to be reputable. And like JAMA, if they put out an article, you know that it's been checked and reviewed. Out of the few collagen studies that are out there, none of them have been published in one of these prestigious journals, which again makes me a little bit critical. And again, it's the amino acids that turn into the collagen. So if your body doesn't have a good dietary source of amino acids, aka proteins in general, it's not going to function very well, is it? So again, I was doing a little bit of digging and I eat this protein powder every single morning. This is not sponsored and I always tell you if a video is, but this is the protein that I've been eating for like 3 years and I have a smoothie in the morning and I love it. I was reading the ingredients on here and guess what? This has literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13. This has 17 different amino acids, both essential amino acids and branched chain amino acids, whereas if you look at something like, hate to call them out, but Vital Proteins, it's literally made of gelatin. This right here is going to be, in my opinion, a better collagen boosting supplement because it has a full profile of amino acids and actual nutrition rather than this overpriced Jello. And this is why I tell you to turn and learn your ingredients. Again, I'm not here to slander a company, I'm not here to call them out, but Vital Proteins is literally orange flavored Jello. Literally look at the ingredients. The ingredients are gelatin, which comes from horse and cow hooves, and boiling bones. What is Jello? Gelatin. And that's a shower going on upstairs. Nice audio, nice. You see, and the Vital Proteins will tell you that they have vitamin C in there. Okay, literally go eat some orange flavored or lemon flavored Jello and you've just saved yourself $60. This specifically does have the proline and glycine, remember those 2 amino acids that collagen is made up of, and this actually has extra amino acids such as tryptophan, which collagen lacks. So this to me is a much better buy, but again, that's my personal opinion and my personal dietary choices, which I am happy to discuss, but you are not obligated to follow. And that's why I try to give you all of this information so that you can make educated and empowered and inspired decisions and choices for yourself, which then brings us to biotin, vitamin B7, and whether or not that is a beauty supplement that you should be taking. And biotin is something that I have taken in the past. I've actually fallen victim to buying a lot of supplements in the past. Biotin was one of them. I didn't personally see a difference, but that doesn't mean that other people don't. And again, a lot of claims online say that people saw great differences, but a lot of medical studies don't really show much. And the most compelling medical study that we have was actually done on dogs. And let me tell you, a dog's body is very different from the way your body processes nutrients and minerals. So what is biotin? Biotin is vitamin B7. It's water soluble, meaning if you take extra of it, your body doesn't hold on to it, you pee it out. On top of that, it is a cofactor to other enzymes. It specifically helps your body in using nutrients. So again, fatty acids, glucose, amino acids. It helps your body function the way it's supposed to. There are some of these specific enzymes and enzyme function in hair roots, which is maybe where some people drew this conclusion, but I want to make it clear that it's also happening everywhere else inside the body. So biotin is not a specific hair or nail targeted thing. It's literally a water-soluble vitamin that works throughout your entire body. It is naturally found inside of foods such as nuts, livers, eggs, grains. If you eat those foods naturally, you're probably going to be just fine on your biotin intake. If you have a medical condition or a genetic condition that does not allow you to absorb certain minerals, or if you're on certain medications or diets in which you don't get biotin, then you may risk a deficiency, but it's not very common that people get biotin deficiencies unless they're overall nutritionally deficient. And the other thing is that it's very uncommon to have a biotin overdose. Again, because it's water soluble, anything that your body doesn't need right then and there gets flushed out with your pee. your body just doesn't hold on to it. Whereas vitamins like A, K, E, D are fat soluble. And those can be dangerous because there's a lot of fat that our bodies use naturally. And if it gets stuck in that fatty tissue and if it builds up, it could become toxic to us. And that's why eating 30 multivitamin gummies in one day is not a good idea. Even though they taste really good, and I know it's tempting, don't do it. Don't let your kids do it. Don't let your cat do it. Protect your body and your fatty tissue. So again, biotin deficiency is very rare, but if you do have biotin deficiency, it's usually a rash around the mouth and around the eyes. You may have brittle hair, which is again, maybe why this started being recommended. Conjunctivitis, aka pink eye, is also very common, as well as numbness and tingling, especially inside of like the hands or the lower extremities. And the reason why is, again, because B7 is a vitamin that your body needs to function properly, but it's not just tied to hair growth. So again, this biotin is necessary for our bodies, but a lot of the studies that have been done don't look that promising. I think there was one that was done on men. I can't remember if it was with Rogaine or in comparison to Rogaine. I will always leave links and references and resources for you to double check in the description box so that you can do your own research, but the scientific studies really aren't there. And again, a lot of the ones that we have are paid for by companies who may benefit financially from promoting this stuff. The other thing to mention is that, kind of like our collagen supplements, biotin is often combined with other things. And let me tell you, if there is something that is offering me biotin, probiotics, a full B complex of vitamins, which includes your niacin, which includes your riboflavin, your cyanocobalamin, your B12, if I've got a vitamin that's offering me all of that and a little bit of sprinkle of vitamin C on top, that's alluring for me to take. I can't really overdose on it. That'll be healthy for my body. And maybe my body is getting benefits from those ingredients, not just that one B7 that they use as the major selling point. Again, if you're taking this one supplement that has so many other things inside of it, you can see where some of the results might get mixed together. You're probably already getting enough biotin and you probably don't need more, but if you really want to take more, there's probably not a lot of risk in doing so. And if you do so, make sure that you take pictures before and after. You could actually measure your hair growth or your nail growth if you want to, just because having that documentation is important and everybody's body is beautiful and different. And the way I react to something might be different than the way you react to something. So there's not a lot of harm in taking it as long as you're not paying ridiculous amounts of money. It could work. Why not give it a try? That's kind of how I see it. Again, unless you have a medical condition or a medication that your doctor says you should not use it with, then obviously don't do it. But overall, this last one is just kind of hanging out in your bladder, literally, because if you take too much, you'll pee it out. Okay. If you learned a little something, make sure that you that like button, and don't forget to whoosh that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you want another video on collagen, like a real deep dive, or any other beauty supplements that I didn't touch on, leave them in the comments below, and I cannot wait to see you in the next video, which you can find right here. I love you, beautiful butterflies, and I'll see you soon. Love you guys. Bye.